Marlboro cribs, cops shoot civilians, vendors, rap stars, Wall Street billions. Donald Trump, shotgun pumps, illegal storefronts, $1.50 Dutches, AF1s and dunks. Skyscrapers, planes hit them, army in the subway, high risk orange alert, every day.
Guys, what is up? Welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. This is going to be another one of my reviews. Today we're taking a look at a fragrance from the house of Dolce Gabbana. This one is called the One EDP version. And this is actually my first review of a fragrance from this house. Believe it or not, I own three from Dolce Gabbana. I have this one. I have a bottle of the Vintage Brom, which I'll review because it's a masterpiece. And I have Light Blue Living Stromboli, which is a bad fragrance. I had the original, the one, and I actually, a couple months ago, sold three fragrances. I sold a couple of Imaginary Authors fragrances that I just didn't need. And I sold Le Labo Poivre 23, which I also just don't love. And to sweeten the deal, I included the original, the one. I really enjoyed the way that fragrance smelled, but I just got poor performance out of it. And to my nose, this is a better, more complete version. We'll get into that a little bit later. What else would I like from Dolce & Gabbana? I love a reasonable price on By Man, which I think is incredible. I'd like to get my nose on the One Royal Night, which I believe was made for the Middle East. And I really would like to check out some of the stuff from the Velvet Collection. I don't think I've ever smelled anything from the Velvet Collection, so I'd at least like to see what those are about. Now, before we get into this one, brief history on Dolce & Gabbana. This is an iconic brand, started as an Italian high-end fashion brand in 1985 by two men, Domenico Dolce and Stefano Gabbana. So basically, these two guys met in Milan in 1980, hit it off, and by 1989, they were exporting their really sort of funky and avant-garde clothing all over the world. In 1991, they launched their first men's collection. They really sort of blew up in the mainstream fashion world when Madonna wore one of their corsets studded with rhinestones to the premiere of her movie Truth or Dare, which was a documentary about her touring. The rest, they say, is history. This is a brand that has the sub-brand D&G. They also have a home collection. And it's also a brand that's not strange to controversy. They've had pretty raunchy ad campaigns. And they were charged with tax evasion in Italy. And both owners wound up doing a little bit of jail time. I have a huge affinity for this clothing brand. I used to rock Dolce & Gabbana heavy. Their t-shirts. I remember going to Woodbury Commons and going to Neiman Marcus off the rack. And I remember being super stoked my freshman year of college because I found a pair of Dolce & Gabbana dark black jeans for like $65. And I was just like, oh my God. So I used to wear D&G shirts, D&G t-shirts. I actually have a couple of D&G button downs. So I do like Dolce & Gabbana. For more whimsical Italian clothing, I still think I prefer Moschino, but I definitely fucked with Dolce & Gabbana heavy. And in fact, when I was like 21, my mother and I sort of got a dog together, and my dog was still alive. Thankfully, she's almost 17. Her name is Dolce, and the plan was to actually get two. She's a Shih Tzu, call one Dolce & Gabbana, but Dolce proved to be enough trouble that we never wound up getting Gabbana. So I'm a fan of this brand. Now, in 1992, along the heels of their first men's collection, they released their first perfume called Dolce & Gabbana. Eventually, the men's version in 1994, which is to me an iconic fragrance that has been really poorly reformulated. Eventually, they partnered with Beauty Prestige International, which also works with Issey Miyake, Narciso Rodriguez. They also have a few other licenses, and they've released close to 70 fragrances in their catalog. A fragrance that was very well received was called The One, which came out in 2008. It's sort of a spicy, ambery fragrance that has notes of tobacco, ginger, and grapefruit. Smells absolutely fantastic, but not much in the performance department. So everyone in the fragrance community was pining for a stronger version, and I know I was really excited when the EDP dropped in 2015. I sort of waited to see how people felt about it, and it got some really good reactions, so I blind bought it. Once I heard enough good things, I was able to snag a 100 ml bottle for $62 off of Latino. This is Eau de Parfum concentration. It was composed by Olivier Poage, the wonderful perfumer behind scents like Dior, Kier Beluga, Valentino Uomo, Spice Bomb, Midnight in Paris. And note-wise on this one, we're going to get grapefruit, coriander, and basil at the top, orange blossom, ginger, and cardamom in the middle, tobacco, amber, and cedar in the base. You can find this one all over online for right around $50 to $60. So definitely not a designer fragrance that you have to overpay for, nor should you. As far as your presentation goes, it's just a darker bottle than the original one, but like heavy cap, really heavy. And if you've ever seen the original bottle, this is just darker, and the juice is darker as well. So nothing crazy, but nice. You know what I'm saying? It's nice, and it's super heavy glass, super heavy cap, which I definitely enjoy. I think it's a well-made bottle. I didn't want to find the box. It's buried somewhere. It looks like the original, the one box. It's just darker. It's almost the same color as the juice, the actual box. So nothing really to see there. And yeah, simple review, guys. This one is really good. For a designer fragrance, it's really good. It did a nice job of improving on the original. What I get out of this one is some amber, a nice dose of synthetic musks and synthetic ambergris-like materials. I get some ginger, I get some grapefruit, and I get some spicy cardamom. It's really not complex, but it's really well balanced and it's well blended, and I think that makes it really appealing. They did an excellent job with this one because they made a unique designer scent that just smells really good. It's really linear, to be honest with you. It's not going to confound you. You're not going to get a different experience each time you smell this one. But if you're okay with like a nice sort of grapefruit and ginger with some amber, spice, and a whole mess of synthetic fixatives, then you'll probably like this one, and it'll probably get you a lot of compliments. I definitely get compliments when I'm wearing this one. It's better performing than the original by a country mile, but by no stretch of the imagination is this a beast. It's a decently performing designer scent, and to be honest, it really should have performed this way from the jump. All that was really accomplished here, if we're being honest, is this went from being a shitty performer with the original to a fragrance that performs bearably. I think it's going to work better on a man than a woman, but that's just my opinion. And I still think this one's light enough that you really can get away with it in any season. Ideally for me, I like to wear this in the spring to work. Definitely can also wear it in the fall, but this probably will not stand up to the winter cold. It might be a little bit too much for those really hot days. If you can't get your hands on this or you're looking for something different, there's not a lot, guys. Like the original, the one, obviously. There's a fragrance by Zara called Cedarwood that does smell a bit like this. And I remember I smelled it a long time ago, and I thought that, and then when I actually was looking for Granica, that is noted as smelling like this one. And then there's a fragrance by Sirius called Number 14, which very much reminds me of a niche version of this. It doesn't perform that well as well. Sirius is a niche brand that used to be on like Lucky Scent and at Barney's, but I don't know what happened to them, and now you can find their testers super cheap online. I actually scooped up a Sirius 14 tester for like $20. I'll probably wind up reviewing it at some point down the road. If someone were trying to talk you into purchasing this scent, I think they'd say that it's a good, safe scent, better than the original, nice bottle. If someone were trying to talk you into passing, I think they'd say that it's a good, safe scent. There's not much more to it, and it's still not a beastly performer. Rating-wise, this one's easy for me, guys. This is a 6.5 out of 10. It's good juice. It's nowhere near the best from this house. You know, the fact that they could do Dolce Gabbana Brom and they could do By Man, it kind of, you know, this isn't as good as those. It might be the third best in their original collection, but it's still not fucking with those. And especially when you look at, you know, what they used to put out. It's just not there. If you must have the one in your collection, get this one and not that one. And the one gentleman flanker to me is just god awful. So don't even look that way. If you want this fragrance, get this one. Guys, that has been my review of the one EDP by Dolce & Gabbana. I hope you have enjoyed this. I'll see you next week with some great videos. I want to thank you guys all so much for watching. See you again real soon. My name obviously is Maximilian.
Walk like I'm from the hood, hair like an indie rock band. So fits and pitch from hammers blow lungs up before Onyx was telling me was throwing them